Hello everyone, I am here today to talk about SAP Power Designer. Basically, before I start with Power Designer, let me give you a quick introduction about myself. I have been in the SAP industry for around 15 odd years now. And in this journey, I have come across various different SAP technologies, Power Designer being one of them. I have used it extensively in various projects that I have done, and I have conducted multiple training programs on the same. Today, I would like to give you a glimpse about SAP Power Designer. So what does a Power Designer tool do? Now, whenever there is any software product that is being launched, definitely there is a purpose for this particular product, right? So if we are trying to talk about a purpose, what is the purpose of Power Designer, right? Now, to come to a purpose, that is, to come to a solution, let's understand what is the problem. First, getting to know what the problem is will make it a lot easier to understand what the solution is. Okay. Now, whenever we want to start any software project, any software implementation project, the first phase that we go across is getting the customer information, getting requirement gathering, requirement analysis. This is the first phase. You can ask any software development. If you are part of any software development team, you will relate with me there. But the first step is requirement analysis. Now, once we get this requirement, then we start thinking in the lines of software that how do we map it into our software design so that the entire requirement is fulfilled. We definitely make sure that the database that we are designing is up to the mark, is not skipping out on anything, so that we do not need to do the changes time and again. So we are taking all the aspects of the requirement into consideration, which means that we want to go ahead and make a concise requirement document. There have been people who have struggled in making this requirement document for ages. This struggle comes to an end with tools like Power Designer. SAP's Power Designer is an ultimate solution for simplifying representation of complex scenarios. There, I said it. What is the purpose of Power Designer? It is nothing but representation of complex scenarios. You can consider it as a simple map. Always whenever we want to step out to an unknown place, we want to find our way, what do? We go ahead and refer to a map. This map is doing what? It is nothing but representation of the roads. It is a representation of your path. So this will help me to find my way. So a blueprint that helps me to find my way is a map. It's nothing but representation of roads. Likewise, a blueprint that will help me find my way towards a successful product, a successful software product, would be my models. So I need to basically gather the requirement and make it into models. So what we have come across the next word here now, that is models. So what are models? What we are saying is, if I gather requirement from a business, then we create a business model, a requirement model. Okay? This requirement model basically denotes how the system is from the perspective of an end user. From an end user's perspective, what is the requirement? I want to jot it down, and I want to jot it down in a way that the representation is self-explanatory. That is called as modeling, requirement modeling. Okay. Once I have mapped the requirement modeling is done from a business perspective. Then I want to go ahead and find out the various different data models. Data models play a very important role when it comes to designing of the databases, because these data models that we are going to create, these are the basis of any database design, right? So this is the first step. This is going to be the base. So from this requirement model, understanding it better, we can go ahead and create data models. Power Designer helps us create this very effectively. Broadly, Power Designer has divided data models into 3 categories. One we call as CDM, that is conceptual data model, which more of is concerned with the business area. The second is logical data model. We can always derive a logical data model from a conceptual data model, or we can have a logical data model as our starting point as well. So it is quite flexible that way. And the third is physical data model. Physical data model is completely in sync with the database, the relevant database that you're using. So Power Designer will let you model from a business perspective. It would let you create a conceptual data model which will map basically any business scenario. You can then go ahead and convert a conceptual data model into logical data model, which will have certain technicalities. It will go ahead and resolve, like for example, it will resolve primary and foreign key relationships, which obviously conceptual data model is not taking into consideration because it's completely focused to the business perspective. Logical data model now will go ahead and bring in all the technicalities. If somebody is well versed with the technicalities, would like to start from logical data model itself, right? But if somebody wants to have an audience, wants to create a data model and present it in front of business users who are not concerned with the technicality, then they would be more interested in the conceptual data model, right? So depending on the audience that you have, you will be going ahead and creating different models. One conceptual data model that can be converted into logical data model, and logical data model further can be converted into physical data model. Now this physical data model will basically be dependent on the database that you're using. So it will be completely in sync with the database, and it will generate at the end SQL statements as well that can be used to actually generate the physical database. So what we are seeing here is that we, with the help of modeling, are not just, this tool helps us not just to show representation, but it basically helps us to even deploy it from a database perspective, right? So there are various versions of this particular software. This software has been designed in a way that it is one universal solution for all kind of modeling, be it requirement modeling, be it data modeling. So depending on what your role is, you use the tool for various different purposes. Majorly it is used for data models, and as I told you, it is used for conceptual data model, logical data models, and physical data models. When we come to data models, we can even get it from an entire business requirement model. So we can create a business requirement model as well. So I generally teach this program. I take the audience right from the beginning, right from making them understand how the tool works, what are the modeling concepts, what are the notations in the modeling concepts, what are entities, what are relationships, what are keys, what are identifiers, what are rules, what are domains. So a lot of business terminologies here, or a lot of Power Designer specific modeling terminologies here, which would be explained in the program, and practical demonstration on various different scenarios would be given in the program. So right, starting from the very basic, we take it to a scenario-based level, wherein recently I had helped an organization in developing or mapping their ERP requirement into Power Designer. So we can take bits and pieces from that requirement, and we can definitely make the audience go through it in terms of assignment. So completely practical training for SAP Power Designer 16.5. Thank you very much.